I live in Florida, and that means I know a thing or two about airflow because airflow is king. And these are the titans of airflow. So we're going to be taking a look at the LEVOIT Tower, the DREO Tower, and the DREO pedestal fan. These are going to give you the most airflow, targeted, and wide sweeping. So I'm going to leave some timestamps on here so you can actually go through and jump immediately to the one that you want to see more about. This is the LEVOIT 36-inch tower fan, and this has a lot of really cool features that we are going to go into, but if you're looking for something that's going to be kind of hands-off, that is exactly what this is. Let's dive in. So on top of this tower, you are going to have buttons that you can go ahead and turn on and turn off. What I'm going to do, because this comes with a handy dandy remote, I'm going to be using the remote as we talk so you can see what is going on here on the display. Now, the only difference between your remote and the buttons here is this one has a mute button, so that way if you press any buttons here, it's not going to have that beeping sound. But other than that, you have all the same, pretty much all the same buttons. So let's get into some of the features of this fan, because this is unlike a lot of your other tower fans. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go through the different fan modes, and I'm going to explain them. So this one right here is just normal mode. This one's turbo. And this one is auto. Now, just so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. Now, for your turbo, obviously, it's going to ramp up very quickly to the highest setting. It's going to oscillate. It's going to try to get the room as cool as possible. Now here with auto, this is really cool. So it actually determined the temperature of my house. Yes, it's 73 degrees. And what it did is then it changed the setting of the fan to the appropriate one based upon the temperature setting. So right here, as you can see, 73, it's at the tail end of 73, and that's why it turned it on to 2. That's why I did that. Now, once, if you were going to do the turbo, once the room drops 5 degrees, then that fan speed will drop down. Honestly, for me, the auto is probably the cooler of the functions, because I mean, you really don't see that very often. All right, speaking of that turbo mode, so it has a 90 degrees of oscillation. And so that's why you see it going from this way and then coming around this way. That's your 90 degrees. And since it is in turbo mode, you'll see that it is currently on the level 5 like that, but at least this way you can see how much it oscillates. Now, the output of this is, it's pretty far, actually. So let me bring this down. We'll actually go ahead and we'll put it on this for now. So this will actually put out, when it's on that 5th level, it will actually go out to 25 feet. So it's going to push a lot of air. Now, taking a look at this and going on the advanced sleep mode. So with this one, it's super, super quiet. It is still moving. You can't hear it and you can't see it. See? That's that. And again, this turns off. That way you're not blinded when you're sleeping. But what's kind of great about this is set up for here, and I have the instructions right here. So what it talks about is that after 5 seconds, as you can see, the display turns off. Beautiful. But then what it will do is after an hour, the tower fan is going to decrease the fan speed, because by that time you're probably going to be sleeping. So that way it's going to go in and help save some energy. What it will do is the tower is actually going to automatically adjust the fan speed according to the room temperature. So if the temperature gets 5 degrees hotter, then the fan is going to go up one speed. And if it gets 5 degrees cooler, it's going to go down. And that is basically your sleep mode. Now, that is based upon a 12-hour cycle. And of course, we are here during the day, so we don't need the sleep cycle. Now, the last thing to talk about here is just a regular timer, and that is going to be this button here. And what you're going to do is you're actually going to set how many hours you would like for it to run, and it will go all the way up to 12 hours. So that way it will automatically turn off after the hours are over. Your tower is going to come with the remote, and the batteries will automatically be with the remote, so you won't have to worry about that at all. And there's also a spot right here on the back that you can go ahead and slide it into, so you don't ever lose the remote. So if you're looking for a smart cooling tower that is going to keep you nice and cool, whether you are awake or whether or not you want to use this at night while you're sleeping, then I recommend picking up this 36-inch tower fan from LEVOIT. This is the DREO pedestal fan, and this happens to be the #1 pedestal fan on Amazon. Let's figure out why. There's 2 ways you can actually operate this fan. One will be directly on the fan, and the other one is the remote. When you're done with the remote, you can put it inside of its holder on the back of the fan, but we're going to be using the remote to operate the fan. Now, here on the remote, you can see that there's a mute button, and that's because if you're looking to go and have this inside of like your room or something while you're sleeping, the last thing you want is sound. So that's why you can actually turn that off, and you're not going to hear that beep. All right, so we do have an oscillation just like any normal fan, and the oscillation is 90 degrees, and that's going side to side. Now, what makes this really cool, this specific fan, is, and I'm going to get behind it so I can show you something. Now, behind here, you can actually move the fan. You can tilt it up and down. Now, of course, I'm trying to do it one-handed. There we go. So you can actually tilt this guy up and down. So that way you can always make sure that you are getting the air exactly where you need it. Now, if you like having essential oils, then you're going to love this. So check this out. You can actually remove this, and right here is a filter that you can put essential oils on, and then you just put it right back. And that way, there we go. And that way you can have essential oils blowing out this way. So I like this fan because of this feature. So right now the entire fan is down, but with this, you can see that we got 4 inches of extra height just by moving this lever. And that's the beauty of this pedestal fan. Not only do you have the height, but then you also have the oscillation, but then you can also tilt this up. So that way you can make sure you're always getting the air that you need where you need it. So is this going to be right for you? Well, I mean, if you're looking for a pedestal fan, or if you're looking for something that's going to have very targeted air, that's going to blow fairly quickly and will cool down a room in less than 2 minutes, and you know what? This is going to be it. If you have like a foggy room or a smoky room or something like that, then you can turn this bad boy up all the way, and it will clear out the room in less than 2 minutes. That's literally what it says on the listing. So yes, I do think that this is definitely worth that #1 spot for best-selling pedestal fans. This is the DREO Smart Tower. Now this bad boy goes from 40 inches up to 45 inches. And there's actually this little pedestal right here that you just press on, and then you press down or you press up. I actually wanted it all the way up. And there's a few different ways you can actually control him. So you do have your buttons on top. You do have a remote that comes with 2 AAA batteries, and you also have a web app for that. So we're going to get into all 3. Let's go. Now you might be wondering, how much air will this push out? And I can tell you that at its max, it will push out 28 feet per second velocity, and you can actually feel that up to 45 feet away. Now this is pretty silent. This is, there we go. All right, so this is as high as it gets, and this is as loud as it gets. Now, this is as low as it gets, and it's hyper silent. It is so quiet. Perfect. Now, I showed you that it has 9 different speeds, and it does have 4 different modes. So the first mode is natural mode, and this is where the fan speed goes up and down intermittently, just to kind of like replicate a breeze. And then the next one here, as you can see, you have that, and that's your sleep mode. So what that does is it will automatically turn off the display. As you can see, it also turns it on mute, so that way if you do decide to go and turn up or down the fan speed, you're not going to hear it. But what it'll do is it will balance comfort and noise by automatically decreasing the fan speed as you fall asleep. So the speed will actually decrease once every 30 minutes, and it'll only do that 2 times at most. So then the next mode, that one is auto. And so the fan is automatically going to increase speed when the room temp is higher and decrease speed when the temp is lower. And then bring it back here again, and that is normal. Now, you might be seeing that right there, and you might be saying, hey, that looks like a Wi-Fi symbol. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we're going to get into that too. But first, we have our oscillation. So your oscillation will actually go, I believe it's up to 90 degrees. 90 degrees oscillation, but also on top here, you're going to press and hold it for 5 seconds, and that's how you're actually going to connect it to your Wi-Fi. So let's actually talk about the web app for a minute. This is the web app, and there we go. So this is what it looks like right now. I do have it on. It is oscillating, as you can see, and I just have it set to 1 and normal. So I can set a schedule if I want to, like maybe I wanted to go and set a specific maybe like I want it to be on a level 2 from the times of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I can do that. And so temperature, it'll actually tell me what the ambient temperature is right now, and it will give you data reports, which I think is kind of cool. That way you can kind of see, you know, roughly my room, which is where this is going to go. My bedroom ended up being like 75 over the last 30 days. Let's see. there's a timer. So I can say turn it off after so long. And it looks like it is a 12-hour, because you can go 11 hours and 59 minutes. So technically it can go up to 12 hours. So that's not bad. And if you want to go and grab more, you definitely can. Now, what I like about this is apparently, and I haven't hooked it up yet, but apparently with this app, you can also hook this into your Google Home, which I love that. I believe it can also work with your Alexa as well. So that is your DREO, the 45-inch up to 45 inches. And you know, I gotta say, I love smart devices, and the fact that this is smart, and the fact that, I mean, it can go based upon schedules, it has a remote, it has the app, it has up here. This has to be my new favorite bedroom fan. I'm going to leave links down in the description for the fans that you would like to get. They are on Amazon. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down for me in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer anything that you may have. So thank you and have a great day.